can join us. We're just gonna start talking. That's what Sam Slade. Hey everyone, this is Andy Hall. That guy, where? Over there? Am I pointing? And I'm not pointing in the right direction. That's Sam Slade over there. Our guest, Katie, she's going to be on. Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. I got a message from her in the gram, and she should be joining us within a few minutes.
Excellent. I'm very excited to catch up with Katie and, get introduced to Katie. I know she's very much into the 90-Day Fiance, which I've recently discovered.
I don't understand. It's difficult to really understand everything that Katie does because she explores the world of reality shows so much. I think the woman must have an advanced degree in reality showdom because she does what? 90 Day Fiance. She does Teen Mom. And if anyone knows anything about Teen Mom, there's like tons of iterations of Teen Mom.
Yeah, it's like it's more intense than Power Rangers got, where there's more seasons than you ever needed or knew existed. And you're like, what? They're ninjas now? Okay.
Right. And let's face it, the Power Rangers was just this weird, more violent version of a Sid and Marty Krofft show.
It was, dude. As a kid, if you were aware of Sid and Marty Krofft when you were watching, at least from my generation, when you're watching Power Rangers, you're like, wait a minute.
Yes. So, hey, I don't want to bury the lead here. I put it in the comments that, yes, Andy Hall, that's me, by the way. I am going to be going into what I'm calling a semi-quarantine at work later on today. Now, what does semi-quarantine mean? That means I do not have COVID-19 to my knowledge. My test results should be coming back later on today. But because I work at a 24-hour staffed residence for people who have disabilities, there is a chance. Well, there is definitely someone who worked at where I work was exposed to COVID-19. And because it's company policy that basically anywhere this guy worked gets locked down until all the tests come back, that means I'm going in for a number of days. I'm going in there at 3:00 today, and I may not be leaving until Thursday next week.
This time next week.
And yeah, right. So this time next week, I could be just fresh out of work, or maybe I might still be at work and not be able to do this. And then Sam will have to do this all by himself. But Sam is really super competent and he can carry. And let's face it, Sam, you are the talent one out of this.
Oh, I'm so flattered. You're only saying that because I put on a tie this morning.
Oh, well, that's absolutely. Well, you did. And someone did comment that your tie is very nice.
Well, thank you. It's from the Mitt Romney collection.
The Mitt. Oh, really? Huh? I like that.
Oh, that was Ray Jimenez that said nice tie. That doesn't count. That's my best friend.
Oh, that's your.
Oh God, Ray Jimenez doesn't get credit for that. Ray, aren't you the guy who tells me not to wear a tie every time we've ever gone out to dinner? No, sir, not today, buddy. Anyways, Andy, I'm sorry. That's stuff I can take care of later.
Okay, dude. Well, why are people getting it? I have no idea what you're talking about, Becca Gio. So yeah, so it looks like I'm going to be going into quarantine for a period of time.
No, that's scary, man, and I'm definitely concerned for you. And I will be able to reach out. Like, you're going to have your phone or you're going to have access to messaging and all that, right?
Yep.
Who are we giving too much credit to in the show? I'm looking at the chat.
Katie. I don't know about you, Sam. I don't know if you know this about the internet, but there are people who are going to dislike whatever you're doing.
What?
Yeah. It's true, though. There are going to be some people who just dislike what you do, regardless.
On the internet?
On the internet.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know if you saw that. Hey, how you doing, KCA Randy? Hello, Paul. Yeah. So, in fact, just the other day, on my own Facebook page, you might have noticed that I was able to garner some internet hate.
Oh, you sent that to me. That literally made my eyes roll back in my head, and I passed out on the couch for like 3 hours reading that damn thread.
Yeah, good times, huh?
Man, I got to stay off the internet unless I'm doing this show with you. And by the way, if you stumbled across this and are not following our social media, you can now go to Friday Morning with Andy and Sam on the old Facebook.
On the old Facebook, is that something like the new Facebook, Sam?
Well, they're working on new Facebook, but they want to get the recipe right.
So what was wrong with the old recipe? Was it just MySpace? Is that what it was?
No, the old Facebook, it was that whole deal where they allowed Russia to just get everybody's information and overthrow elections.
Did
Remember
they
that
change
thing?
that? I didn't think they changed that.
Oh, is this another new Coke thing, Andy? God damn it. I'm starting to think Mark Zuckerberg isn't really giving us a fair shake around here.
He's giving people a shake, all right. A fair shake? Maybe not.
He's probably shaking those Chinese babies of his right about now, wondering why they can't have work for slave labor for him.
I see what you did there.
I have to tell you, you know, I'm in the middle of this very tough minor league baseball career on PlayStation.
Are you crushing it?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm doing all right, but every time I feel like I figured it out, I play a game against Tara, and she comes in and puts me to shame. And last night, the Boston Red Sox defeated my beloved Chicago Cubs, lost to your Boston Red Sox 6-3. And that last run, the third run, was like in the bottom of the ninth. Just let's not embarrass ourselves, guys. Drive one in. So every time I feel like, hey, I'm finally achieving my dreams of athletic greatness in America, here comes this beautiful Native American woman to remind me what the white man did to this country and to repay me for all of the Irish sins that we committed.
So you're just a colonizer.
I'm just a colonizer, Andy. Thank you. Tara just looked at me and said she couldn't have said it better herself.
Very good. You know, I'm going to say hello to some people out there in the chat. Hello, Wooden Eagle. Wooden Eagle. I don't think I've seen you before, Wooden Eagle, or
hey,
have come
I
across
got to
you.
point out, Andy, I've never even got to see the chat side.
You don't see the chat.
So this is my first time seeing it, and I'm absolutely fascinated. And by the way, that cough, that is COVID. I live in Texas, so I definitely have it.
Good. That's right, because you guys have opened up. Dr. Mordecai, I have not gotten any serious death threats. Very veiled. The only serious death threat I got, it wasn't really a death threat. It was actually from a humanist from back in the day who said that people like me should be killed. He didn't specifically say I should be killed, but just people like me. So in terms of people getting death threats on the internet, I am perfectly, I'm lucky, to tell you the truth. Very limited.
Hey, God, that is a riveting comment. I should have never, I wish I hadn't found the chat side of this. I'm going to have to turn it off here in a second, but before I do and focus up for the task at hand and what we came here to do today, I want to point out this riveting comment from Becca Gio. I'm used to streams whereas you have a different opinion. You get Biden at Wooden Eagle, so I assume that's how this stream was going to be. Well, thank you. Thank you for participating. I could not have made that observation myself. I'm so glad we democratized the show, Andy.
Well, you know what this is, being a veteran of comedy clubs like we are.
Hey, let me tell you something right now. If you start comedy shaming me at 10:08 Central Time.
Well, it's good to have you here, Wooden Eagle. That's right. I'm not going to, I'm not a comedy shamer. I'm more of a general shamer, to tell you the truth, Sam. I just shame with a wide brush.
Thank you. I know. And I feel like I always have been too. And that's been a big point of bonding for us over the years is that it doesn't matter if it's comedy, film, music, sports, the fucking pants the guy in front of us is wearing at the grocery store. We're just going to shame.
Pants.
We're Irish white guys. Are we not going to shame? It's literally our birthright.
I have to tell you, I got my 23andMe results back
Don't break my heart. It's a Friday, Andy.
About a year and a half ago, and up until that time, I did not know that I had considerable Irish blood in me.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was that much of a shock. It was like going to see a Chris Nolan movie and being like, oh shit, the timeline doesn't make sense. I'm so shocked.
Right? A white guy from Boston finds out he's Irish. Who would have thought it?
That is so good. I was worried you were going to say, like, that's why I haven't done my 23andMe. Is because I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it and go like, oh, I'm not Irish or Scottish. I'm like Welsh, and boo, who the fuck wants that?
Welsh? You're Welsh?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't done it because I'm worried that I'm going to get some weird result.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing, Katie?
Whew, I'm good. Sorry. Oh. Good. How are you guys?
I'm getting some weird sound. Do you hear weird sound, Sam?
Yeah,
I hear
we're gonna
myself.
need some headphones. I think it's us coming through.
We are coming through your speakers.
Really? I've never heard that before.
I swear to my fictitious God, I'm not making this up. And now that I hear my own voice, I'm personally disgusted by this.
I don't
Yeah,
have
I'm usually
headphones.
disgusted by your voice,
I don't
Avery.
normally wear headphones
Okay.
when I do these.
Well, there is definitely that rate. Now, Sam, you used to work in radio.
Mhm.
There would be the time where the person calls into the radio station.
Turn the radio down.
Are you watching the stream? Like, do you have the audio on, like, for the stream? Like, is that why you hear my voice?
I have to tell you, this is the third time I've streamed. We haven't had this problem before.
Do you have a pair of like earbuds or AirPods or something handy?
I've never done. Hold on, you guys.
Okay, yeah. Take your time. So Sam and I will just
Look
talk.
at that guy.
That's a cute dog.
Cute dog.
Yeah.
Adorable dog. Well, this is going great.
What this is, it's live entertainment. That's what this is, Sam.
That's why you're a professional, Andrew Hall. You are not going to let a little thing. I got to tell you, before I forget, I've been meaning to tell you this for weeks. We have slipped into some weird, like, Tourette's catchphrase thing around here. Tara and
Tell
I
me.
have.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I guess I might have done it on Jack Show. I think I did it on here with you, where I just Tourette's 80s movie quotes lately. But one that the girlfriend and I have been doing lately is the old Bill O'Reilly, "Fuck it, let's do it live." Fuck it, we'll do it live. You remember that? We
Yes,
flipped
I
out
do.
on hard copy. So we've been doing that. And just now, that's all I could think about was Bill O'Reilly's sweaty face going, "Fuck it, we'll do it live." I know, relevant 25-year-old clip. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Clap. I'm gonna clap. There you go.
Thank you. It's only Andy and Sam that are echoing. Somebody just said in the thing.
Right.
Susan Ryan said she's dying. Please fix it. Susan, you might want to go to some sort of emergency room if you're dying. I don't think this is the show for you right now.
No, I think that they're medical professionals.
Okay, it says I don't know. I got to get off the chat. I'm going to go nuts trying to read a chat room conversation.
Right.
There was something I was going to bring to your attention. I saw a trailer for a film yesterday called Unhinged.
What's Unhinged about?
Russell Crowe refusing to lose the weight from the Roger Ailes TV show. He's just nice, fat, and comfortable. And basically, one bad day of road rage causes him to lose his goddamn mind and chase some poor woman and her son down, like across the state, because they cut him off in traffic, like to the point where he's terrorizing him. It's easily the scariest role I've seen Russell Crowe play by far.
You know, it's similar to the old Stephen King story, and I think it's called Joust. Maybe it was during the late 70s, maybe early 80s, about a trucker who is terrorizing this woman on the highway somewhere out west.
And you never see the trucker, right? And you just see like the lights.
Dude, you see his boots, right? You see him in his cab, but you never see him.
That's what makes it so scary, is the unknown. It's the imagination drawing him in your head. You know, like when you don't see Jaws the first time you watch it.
Oh, Jaws. Yeah. You know what I'm disappointed with is that in this age of COVID-19, I'm not going to be able to see Jaws in the theater like I did in the last couple of years, because at the local independent movie theater, they show Jaws on July 4th weekend.
Oh, that's great.
But not this year.
That sucks, man. I usually do that. Alamo Drafthouse usually screens Ghostbusters in the summer here in Austin when they do, like at the same time Ghostbusters came out. So whether or not it's a big anniversary for the movie or not, they run it summertime. They do some showing, and that was always a thing Ray and I would do. I've dragged that man to more showings of Ghostbusters in theaters than he ever deserved. Or I'm sorry, than he needed to sit through.
Right.
I'm pissed off I don't get to see new Ghostbusters this summer. I'm pissed off. Well, I probably won't get to see new Wonder Woman in theaters this summer.
Dude, I would, and I don't want to make this sound pervy, but I love that. I love that trailer. I've watched it maybe 20 times.
Oh, the Wonder Woman trailer?
The Wonder Woman trailer. Yeah, that's so badass.
It's perfect. It's a perfect summer action movie trailer. With the song, with the what song did they remake for the Wonder Woman trailer?
Oh,
Oh man, two white guys. We're not going to figure this out at our age.
Paul Kamish, you have
was it?
Welsh and Scottish parents talking to Paul from the chat. He says he has one of his parents is Scottish, and I was wondering where they're from in Scotland. But well, he will answer us at some point.
Do you think that this will?
Oh, Katie's back.
Will this lead to a boom in the drive-in movie theater?
How you doing?
Hi, is that better?
Oh my awesome. God, Katie, that is so much better. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You know, so I was just talking about and saying about those wonderful things about you before you came on about how you should have like some kind of advanced degree in reality show studies.
Oh my gosh, you know.
and then I was thinking, you know, we talked less than a year ago, Katie.
Yeah.
What the hell happened between now and then? Because it seems like a decade.
I thought we talked. Didn't we talk? It was less than a year ago.
It was June 2019 because I was looking at the clip.
You are kidding me.
I shit you not.
No.
It was 2019 June. And I was at my old place because I moved in with my girlfriend. We both moved just at the beginning of the COVID-19 crisis. We moved because it was already set up. So I'm in my new digs. And, you know, I mean, it was like a whole nother world back then.
No way. I feel like but I talked to you on Instagram and on Twitter.
We do talk to each other on Instagram and Twitter, but I feel like between like June last year and now, there's been like a sea change with your YouTube channel, and I mean you're doing basically the same thing. You know, I'm getting ahead of myself. First of all, for those of the people who aren't acquainted with you and your work, how would you describe what you do?
I am a blogger. You know me because we met when we were working together at Pathios.
Yep.
And Jack and Suzanne were like my buddies, my mentors. You're still, all of you are still my friends. I still love you guys so much. He meant to, but yeah, we all met at Pathios where I was, doing a lot of stuff about, what was I doing back then?
You were exposing homeopaths.
Yeah, homeopathic stuff. Yes, homeopathic stuff. So like people that were telling kids to drink turpentine and bleach and, you know, people that
Enough about the president though, right?
Oh my God. I know I saw that. I was like, what the hell? People that were like burning their body parts off with that like black salve. Yeah. And then doing some stuff with the anti-vax stuff with the various players in that industry sort of pushing their misinformation. And gosh, I did stuff with birth, like all the crazy birth stuff.
Yeah.
And then
the crazy birth stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like the ladies that are like, I don't need help with anything.
Horrible.
Yeah. And then I sort of like, I don't know. YouTube sort of took me in a different direction. Not that I still am not passionate about those topics. Like I still really don't like that, but I feel like these platforms are getting so much better about policing that kind of information.
Yeah.
Facebook put a huge crackdown due to so many outlets like me and NBC and, you know, HEMIT and all of these media outlets basically like screaming at these platforms saying, why are you allowing these on your platform? So YouTube cracked down, Facebook cracked down, Twitter cracked down, which was awesome. Like, and you get disclaimers now on YouTube when there's misinformation, you know? And so when that happened, unfortunately, the algorithm kicked me in the butt because even if you did things that were debunking it, they would flag you.
Which is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I had always had this, I feel like Dale, our former editor, he would always say, like, you are kind of like a salad, like a mixed salad. Like, you don't really have a, I don't even know, like, you're not one thing. You don't blog about one thing. You kind of just blog about whatever you want to talk about.
Right. And you do it intelligently. I was just looking at some of your older videos and some of your newer videos too. But there are, like, you sprinkle in skepticism in there.
Yeah.
And stuff that people should know, but they typically don't. Like lie detector tests. There was something about a lie detector test. And you're like,
yes.
Those things don't work, They're not allowed in a court of law. They don't work.
No, oh my gosh. All the studies about lie detector tests are crazy. Like, they're just so inaccurate. And they can be manipulated so easily, and they have never been able to scientifically determine that voice changes or that reactions indicate that someone's lying.
Yes.
Because a pathological liar can lie and not even look like they're lying.
Completely. Because if you feel, there's that old Seinfeld joke, right? When George says to Jerry, if you believe the lie, you're not really lying. So a sociopath who has a mastery over their own physiological responses, it's not going to show up in a lie detector test.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Erin says that she's been working with the anti-vax movement for 3 years and Facebook hasn't done anything. Well, I'm not saying that, like, they've done better at cracking down. Of course, it's still an issue. I'm not claiming that it's better. You know what I mean? I'm not claiming that this has somehow disappeared.
Katie, Katie, it's okay. Erin's a liar.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I'm not making any sort of claims like it's like 100% better. It's just you get really exhausted of fighting irrational beliefs and like ones that are rooted in misinformation. And you get to a point where it's like, no matter what you say, they're not going to believe you. And, sometimes you just have like, I have to move on. I have to do something different. I have to cover other things. And I've always had a passion for, like, I've always had guilty pleasures of reality television.
Sure.
And then also just any sort of abuse or violence or, people that are assaulted, sexual assault, that kind of stuff. And it actually kind of happened by accident. I started covering some of the teen moms because they were arrested or they were in the news for losing their children. And it just sort of sent me into this rabbit hole of all of these really problematic things that happen on reality television. And you just sort of...
So I'm going to ask you a loaded question.
Yeah.
Hey, can I just chime in with one thing, Andy? I just want to point out that I used to run into Farrah Abraham a lot at the strip club here in Austin.
Oh, did you?
Go ahead. Andy, I'm sorry. That's a teen mom.
Oh, I'm acquainted with some of Miss Abrams' work.
Okay, we're going to have to see two hands, sir. Two hands at all time during the broadcast. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Very good. Interesting thing about Teen Mom, and I heard this on the Freakonomics podcast, actually, is that, and you probably already know this, Katie, is that where the communities where Teen Mom is broadcasted, there are actually low rates of teen pregnancy.
Well, I think initially, I mean, I'd have no idea. Like, I think initially the show had the momentum to bring to light, the realities of teen mothers and helped people see I feel like when it all launched 10 years ago, it was very different than what we're seeing today.
Okay.
And I feel like the show has changed a lot. Again, these are my opinions.
Sure.
So I think when it all started, it came from this place of we're going to help people realize the challenges of raising children when you're still a child yourself, and we're going to talk about, birth control, and we're going to plant all these PSAs about knowing about birth control and know your options, and all of that. And I think at one point it did bring down teen pregnancy, but I wouldn't just say that you can say it was just teen mom.
Sure.
I think, we've had better education in schools. We've had better access to birth control for kids. We've had less abstinent only education. So is it the teen mom part of it? Sure. But I'm sure other parts of it are what's going on in education and with the government. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying, or what I'm hearing at least, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that the show has veered into more of gratuitous entertainment. Is that?
I think what's happened, and this is what I get from when I cover the show, is that a lot of the people that watch it will say that the girls used to be like endearing and sweet, and it used to be this watching the struggles of a girl trying to raise a child. And over the years, these girls have become rich, and you've lost that reality. So that teen mothers who once identified with them can't, because they're like, well, I can't go to Hawaii or Costa Rica or this or that. I don't have an $800,000 home. I'm not on TV talking about how famous I am. I'm not worried about this or that related to, they've made a lot of money. And listen, like, get it. Like, I'm all about, like, go get it. Go get your cheddar. Like, make your money. But at the same time, like, I feel like you can't expect, like, I feel like audiences are very intelligent. Mm-hmm. And I feel like
especially the MTV audience.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that was sarcastic.
I feel that way too.
Right. So, hi, Unirach. There's Rach in there. She's one of my friends, and so is Housewives.
She's one of your peoples.
Yeah, I love Rach.
I just have to say, I can relate to, and I know exactly what Katie's talking about, because when I think about what's happened to the women on Teen Mom over the years and the way the show has changed since the way it was when it started, because I remember when it started, it was guilty pleasure television for everybody, but the way these women have sold out over the years, I put it right up there next to when Paul McCartney did that song with Michael Jackson in '83.
That's a fascinating. Yeah, I was thinking actually that it sounds like it went into a WWE kind of world where.
It really did. And I feel like back in the day, early footage of this show was very much not scripted the way that it is today. I feel like the problem we're seeing a lot with reality television now is so much manipulation and interference by production to create scenes and to create drama that people don't really even buy what it is that you're watching. And, then you have bloggers or media that can poke holes in everything that they're putting out there and saying, well, that was scripted, or that was faked, or this was faked. And I feel like, if you remember way back when The Real World debuted, remember how
I totally remember that. Yeah.
Remember how raw that was? There was
very raw.
Nothing scripted. I mean, even if you think about the very first reality shows like the Osbournes or Jessica and Nick, the Newlyweds.
Yep.
Like,
and they got married in Austin.
Yeah, and none of that was really scripted. That was very just like, you saw Jessica acting a fool and she didn't even care. You know what I mean? Like.
Sure.
And you saw Ozzy practically passed out from being so intoxicated fighting with a remote. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't faked. But now
Ozzy Osbourne does drugs.
Yeah. But today it's sort of ping pong together, where that storylines in real life they're blurred.
Sure. And they're intentionally blurred. So in order to get clicks and to sell merchandise and to get viewers.
Right. And what Cutie but Saying Clark said is teen mom should be about struggles being a young mom. Now they definitely have no struggles. And that's the thing, is that these girls I think there's still some things that you see, because if you look at the statistics of people that have children while they're young, there's a higher likelihood that they'll have another child while they're still young, which we've seen. There's a higher likelihood that there will be incidences of domestic violence and of divorces and of, substance abuse, incarceration of parents.
Oh yeah.
And that, that all comes from, I feel like I found that at the Department of something. Child welfare, I think, has stuff about it, because there's a reason why they want to reduce teen pregnancy. And it's not just because we don't want teens raising teens, but they've done enough studies to show that, there's so many challenges of the immature,
Sure.
underdeveloped brain.
Right. And, Katie, we're both parents, and Sam is immature, so he can understand this from, the other side of the equation. The parenting is really hard. I wasn't a parent until my 30s, and even then, I didn't really think I was equipped.
Correct. Yeah.
And I had been married for a period of time too, before having children, and even then, it was just a different world.
Yeah, very much so. And it's not to say that there's not, I feel like anytime I make these kinds of statements, there'll be that one teen mom in the audience that will be like, but that didn't happen to me. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that doesn't happen to everyone, right?
No, of course not. And you know what? This is where the skepticism comes in too, right?
Yeah.
It's about, yes, there's always going to be anecdotal cases.
Correct.
Where this person does exceptionally well, or having a child at 18 really turned this person's life around. But overall, when you look at the numbers, it predisposes people towards a whole host of horrible things happening to them.
Unfortunately.
Do you guys remember when Puck put his fingers in Pedro's peanut butter? And
oh my God!
Were like, that's it. We're gonna have to vote him out of the house. This is bullshit, Puck.
Oh my God! I haven't thought about Puck and that incident for decades, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Oh, do you remember when Dave pulled the blanket off that chick in the hallway and got voted off?
That I don't remember.
Now, remember he was in Half Baked. He's the guy who's like, suck dick for weed. No, he was the real comic. He was on Real World.
Oh,
and then Chappelle was friends with him, and he put him in Half Baked.
This is the problem with putting comedians on reality shows. I think it's just gonna make things crazy.
And see, the funny thing is in today's day and age, Puck would have never been kicked off. You know what
Never.
I mean? They would have kept him on there because he is great. He brought in ratings.
Well, Katie, the difference is because MTV was still concerned with the general well-being of the people involved in the production, as opposed to now where it's psychological torture and you signed up for the shit. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's sort of where I'm at now as someone covering this, right? So you get to a point where these girls have made a lot of money and MTV has made them rich, and it's kind of like the Mama June effect, right? Like these people can make bad choices and still make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Because nobody can turn away from a train wreck. And unfortunately, what I see when I look at it from more of a critical lens is I think about the people like the children or the people that are on the other side of, if it's abuse or whatever, that are like the victims of it. And what does it feel like for an abuser to be able to make so much money pushing a narrative has no truth to reality?
And you don't only mean the pathetic fat guys getting played by the Russian women on 90 Day Fiance.
Right.
So you would definitely classify that a lot of what goes on, or some of the stuff that goes on Teen Mom, is child abuse.
Well, I don't think I would say that. No.
Okay.
I mean,
can I say it?
I don't think I would ever make a blanket statement like that. I think a lot of the kids are fine.
Sure. Well, that's good.
I think there's been incidences. There's been arrests. There's been court proceedings that you can look to, but not all the moms. No, I mean. Yeah,
that's good. That's
guys,
good.
This is unreal. All morning, people have been trying to hack into my Instagram, my Facebook, and I just keep getting bing, 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 bing.
Well, maybe don't badmouth the teen moms and people won't try to hack your shit.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Since we've been live, 4 just now. 5. This is insane.
I've talked with people who, I mean, you have a great YouTube channel. You have a good amount of subscribers, but I haven't seen as much hate directed at a YouTube channel as I have towards yours, Katie.
I don't know. I don't think that's true. I think a lot of YouTubers have a lot of hate. I mean, look at there. You look at what's going on. It happens to every canceling and trolling happens to all YouTubers. It doesn't just happen to me. I think, and I think it would be ridiculous for me to say like I'm the only one that this happens to.
Right, right.
You know, it's just part of the job.
Tell me about the Duggars.
Oh my god.
Because this is where I'm like intrigued.
Yeah, that's
I'm intrigued.
So obviously coming from Pathios, you know that on Pathios I did a lot of stuff around cults.
Oh yeah.
And
Good work too. Good work too.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff
Maybe
around.
I have to ask favorite cult of all time.
Oh God. Well, first off, I wouldn't say favorite. You know what I mean? Like favorite
No, it's okay.
implies favorite.
Sure. No, we're gonna let's not mince words here. Just pick a favorite cult. It's nobody's gonna read into it. This isn't gonna end up in some federal court. Somebody reading this back to you in 25 years. Don't worry.
I would say most interesting over the years. Well, a few. Like, I was born in 1978, and I was born a week before Jonestown happened, and so I have always been intrigued with that Jonestown story, and I feel like having clips in the newspaper from my baby book. Like, do you remember having baby books? And your mom
I still
might
have
clipped things and put it in your baby book.
Sure.
I thought I was the only one that just had a baby book full of Jim Jones memories.
I do though, because I was born in 78 and I was born the same week that it happened. And so in my baby book, in the news, it's like Jonestown. And then there's this article about all these mass bodies, right? And I feel like that kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
sure, that makes an impression on you.
That makes an impression on you, right? And then, you know, I had a boyfriend that was a Jehovah's Witness. And he was disfellowshipped when we were together. And I saw the very sad realities of what that cult does to people. I watched him get lost. I watched him spiral. I watched him get in trouble with the law. I watched him just, you know, it was really sad. And I watched his family completely abandon him and disown him and shun him.
Yeah.
And I think that being a part of that, at such a young age, I dated him from the time I was 17 till the time I was 19.
Wow.
And I feel like that relationship really left a print on me because I felt like I could never really help him. And I always felt like responsible for him being shunned because he was dating me. He would have left.
Were you like trying to influence him to leave the church to quit the Jehovah's Witness gig?
No, they just can't date outside of the church, and that's grounds to be kicked out. You know what I mean?
And you just and you were like, come over here, it'll be fun. We'll do naked stuff. You don't need to do that. That's weird, bizarre Jehovah stuff. Let's come over here. So you were just like, yeah, like you don't need to be in a cult anymore.
Well,
we'll just go do sexy teenager stuff.
First off, I didn't know it was a cult. I didn't know about cults when I was 17. You know, my mom was...
Which is, by the way, a cult leader's favorite thing to hear from a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah. Well, I grew up Catholic. And...
Never heard of a cult? What?
And so I had my own dealings with that stuff. But, you know, my mom was always just like, well, you know, that's a cult. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, and I think my mom had some concerns, but knew that I was like smart enough to know that what they were saying wasn't appropriate. And I never bought into it. I mean, his mom and dad were always trying to like pitch it to me, and
they were doing the hard sell, Katie.
Oh yeah.
Well, can you give an example of the hard sell for the Jehovah's Witness? I'm intrigued.
You know, it was more just like, what do you know about this? What do you know about Jehovah? What do you know about Armageddon? Like, are you prepared for Armageddon? Do you know that when Armageddon comes, you won't be saved? You know, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I never really, you know, I would just be like, you're cute, you know, like I was 17, like
sure,
18. And so, I just would try to like, I've always been very like, my mom taught me to be respectful of adults and to always like, when you go over to someone's house, like make sure that you're like friendly and engaging and that kind of stuff. So I would always just try to like entertain it and just sit there, you know what I mean? And just like,
oh sure,
and not argue. And
That's really cool because I know growing up, my parents were always like, just when you go to people's houses, don't fucking engage with anybody.
yeah.
So to answer Sam's question, my favorite cult would be
Yes.
the Moonies, because I was in London at 19 years old, and I had this woman chat me up on the street, invite me to the local coffee shop, which turned out to be Mooney Central.
Yeah. Oh,
So
the
it was
Moody's. Yes, we talked about that.
right.
Yes, I remember that. And then you have the landmark stuff. Remember, we were like
Oh,
engaging about the landmark
I had
stuff.
I had
Your
this girlfriend. I
girlfriend.
had this ex-girlfriend who was an est / the forum / landmark
Yes,
education.
and my
What
friends got involved in it in college, and they went like they start using this weird language. We did a podcast, and we were laughing about like the rackets.
the racket? What's your racket, man? Yeah, you could tell it was coming out of the early 70s. Like, what's your racket? And no, you can't urinate now in this seminar. You have to hold your urine in until the boss tells you can pee.
You know I'll fuck
Nuts.
that rule up, Andy. You know I will not stand by those you can't pee rules. Do you remember my story last Friday on the show?
I remember. Yes, Sam. You would have to. I don't know. You'd have to wear double underpants, maybe.
Double underpants. Oh
double.
my God.
Katie's obviously not a regular viewer. It's fine. But what I was going to say, people
Well, I'm
forget
not.
about.
Listen, I've been around Andy enough to know his inappropriateness. I've also been like you're you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's cool. I was just wanted
He's
to point
a
out. People,
comedian.
That's what I'm told.
Yeah, well,
that's the word on the street.
that's his claim.
That's my claim. That's right. I believe I have some evidence to support that claim.
Although there are literally some blogs you write where I'm literally spitting out my coffee, like laughing so hard. Oh my God.
I'm glad to hear that, Katie.
There was one you did about Betsy. Remember with Betsy DeVois and her yacht. Her yacht.
Shakes. Oh, right. It was, it was. I did a couple of things about Betsy. One of them was
the yacht one had me dying. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny.
How does this woman become the Secretary of Education? It just boggles. I know corruption. I know that. But it just boggles my brain.
If only there was some through line through this really seedy world of reality TV and how we got here as a country. I wish somehow we could have one of those big detective boards like Russ Cole, just with all the yarn everywhere. If somehow we could figure out how we went from reality TV show and their manipulated situations. Oh, if I could just put it together, Andy.
Maybe there would be a straight line from the office of the presidency to the reality show. Maybe. But let's get back to the Duggars because Katie's done deep dives into the Duggars, and she knows more about them probably than anyone else I know, and I'm looking forward to hearing.
Well, I would venture to say that Suzanne knows a good amount about the Duggars. Too.
This is true. Suzanne does know. She does know a lot. But so what's your take? You talk about, you make a couple of videos, a lot of videos. I mean, where are you at on the Duggars these days?
Well, the Duggars and my Fundy content is probably the most viewed.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of all of the stuff that I do. People always say that like they like my content that's I don't even know. Like they say that wherever I'm like passionate about something, they like that stuff the best. I've been sort of changing it up, just doing a little bit more lighthearted stuff to make people laugh just because of everything that's been going on with COVID.
Yeah.
But you know, the Duggars are complex because I feel like you have a family that's been in the public eye for a very long time, and they have been telling us for years that, you know, this lifestyle that they lead is normal. You know, our kids don't look at electronics, we homeschool, you know, we are good Christians, we are against all of these things, you know, like they want to, it's like this push of the wholesome Christian values.
Yeah.
And listen, I have nothing against Christian values. But the problem is that they're involved with the Institute of Basic Life Principles. And the Institute of Basic Life Principles is designated as a cult. And it's run by Bill Gothard, who, well, it was ran and founded by Bill Gothard, who has a lot of allegations. 34 women came forward and said that he either sexually harassed or sexually assaulted him. And when you look at the teachings of the Institute of Basic Life Principles and you see how it places men in a very powerful position and women in a very submissive position, and how there's like
It's a patriarchy. It sounds like a
yeah.
rigid
Well,
patriarchal
and it's
system.
not only that, like Suzanne, she once did this, like she took shots and went through she did a tequila shot thing where she went through Bill Gothard's teaching on how to report sexual assault. And basically you can't, because it's always the victim's problem. It's always the victim that causes it.
Right. Blaming the victim.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Can I say what my favorite cult is?
Tell me.
AA.
AA, really? And what are your thoughts about AA, Sam?
A damn effective cult, if I do say so myself.
I know that I've worked with people who are in recovery. I used to volunteer at a substance abuse helpline back in the day, and of course, I'm in mental health.
It's okay. I am too on the other side.
When you look at the statistics, I believe there's no evidence to show that AA works. Now, there might be anecdotal evidence that people do, like it, and they may feel like it helps them, but overall, I don't think it works, and I don't think the evidence shows that it works.
Cult. Let's be honest. It's a sex cult the way the Branch Davidians were, the way Jonestown was. It's just another way for creepy old men to fuck young women and have a way. I'm sorry. Does this sound? Let me digress. Andy, let's just move this right along like Kermit and Fozzie Bear.
Should I be saying something Kermit-like? I think I should be saying something Kermit-like. So Katie, if you go back to at the very beginning of the stream, actually, I was talking about how I'm about to go into quarantine.
I'm worried for the guy, and I'm glad I'll be able to reach out to him.
Because as you probably remember, I work with people who have disabilities, and the house that I work at, someone's been exposed to COVID-19. So I get to be, and until all the tests come in, I'm volunteering to go in for like days and days and days and days up until all the tests come back, which should be around Thursday next week, assuming everything comes back negative. So that's what I get to look forward to. Yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know how bad it is that I had to talk to my ex-wife. That was the situation there. It's like, so I should tell you that I'm not going to be able to see the kids for about a week or so, probably about a week, hopefully.
Wow.
So that's my COVID story.
Your kids aren't freaking out, are they?
No, my kids are older. They're 18. Geez, 18 and 15. So they're both, and you have to downplay it, right? My kids don't watch anything I do on YouTube or any of my other shows. And so, so you downplay it and you just say, hey, this is just policy. Yeah, they're just closing down the house. No one at the house right now who lives there has it. So I just got to go in because it's company policy.
And I think you're going to be all right, man. I know it's a scary deal, but you guys have it good up there, and you guys have a real competent, on-the-ball mayor. I'm not running that guy's campaign or anything, but what I'm saying is it's a lot better than what we have down here, where we've gone back to just legit Wild West, to wear a mask, don't wear a mask, whatever you want to do.
Right. How have you been navigating the COVID? Katie, let me just say that I hope everything is well with you and your family in this age of pandemic. That people are as healthy as they ever have been. Yeah,
we've been doing okay. I don't think I've left the house in like 2 weeks, to be honest.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, this is crazy. But we've been in lockdown since before it was like even lockdown here because of my son.
Yeah.
And we're doing okay. I mean, my husband was laid off. That was the biggest. But outside of that, we're fine.
That's good.
Yeah.
What part of the country are you guys in, Katie?
Midwest.
Yeah. That's good.
Is it like the disputed lands or any specific state or
the disputed lands? That's right. It's in that Bandito territory in between like Montana and Canada.
We're in Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Cool. Yeah. I've got some friends up there.
I have people I'm sorry, you guys. I have people literally trying to hack into my IP right now. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like,
I am not a technical person. Anything that goes wrong. I mean, my girlfriend, new girlfriend, by the way, Katie. The last time that we the last time that we talked, no, I'm
You
still
were
going
dating
out with
her.
I was dating her. That's right.
Yeah.
And things remarkably are still going exceptionally well, which I don't know how that happened. I haven't been able to figure out a way to
please.
sabotage
You're a
it.
charming, sexy man. Stop it, Andrew.
So now I'm going to blush. You can't make me blush.
It's Friday, and you're about to go into quarantine. Get it all out. Enjoy your day.
Yeah.
Katie, have you thought about contacting the FBI or
I did.
Povich?
Yeah.
You did. Well, tell us about. So how does that work? How did that work?
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, you can't do that. Maybe we'll do that.
I don't want to talk about anything related to anything, if you know what I mean. Like, I just don't want to go there.
I know. You didn't even want to tell us what state you live in.
There's just a lot going on, and I just want to keep my family safe right now. And I don't want to, like, I feel like I'm going to throw up right now. I'm pretty.
It's okay. I feel like that too.
Sam. Well, Katie, I but when I look at your videos and on your Instagram feed, right, my heart does go out to you in many times, because I know that you're doing the right thing. You're sticking up for people. You're challenging people, and in some small way, I try to do the same thing. Except, I don't get as much crap.
Remember Dale? He'd always be like, "You go and like, you guys are bear pokers. Like that's what you guys do for a living, and you expose things that people don't want to see, and you call things out, and you stand up for things." And I think when people are exposed or somebody's doing things that aren't okay or nefarious, and you speak up and you defend people, it obviously upsets people. And so, you get a lot of people that have like not the best backgrounds then coming out and saying, "Oh, you're a terrible person," or "Katie's doing this," or "Katie says this," and "Katie does that." And it's like, I've always tried to be fair. I always try to see if somebody is like, if there's another side of the story. I feel like I've changed a lot too. I try to be more deliberate now when I look at things and more objective. But I think sometimes it's hard to be objective when it's very clear what's happening. But at the same time, as you rise, people want to then say you're a bad person, and you just have to kind of like remind yourself that it's just noise on the internet. Like, people can say they don't like me. That's fine.
Yep.
I don't care if people don't like me, like, I want to just make content, and I want to talk about the things that I'm passionate about. And, if I've upset people that I called out for being bad people or for doing bad things, sometimes I feel like when people are upset about their behavior, it's easier to point the finger at the person that called it out.
Sure. Oh, definitely.
Than it is to reflect. But, if I ever get stories wrong, I always correct them. If I, make mistakes, I will never say that, that happens all the time in print. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even tell you how many times I get someone in, like, that's why the New York Times has corrections. You know what I mean? Like, you have to correct things. And so when I've made mistakes,
I remember one.
What was that, Sam?
Oh, one summer I was interning at the Chicago Tribune, actually, in Chicago, when I lived up there. And it was such a fascinating experience just seeing how a major newspaper operates like that. Because I remember one of our, I'd say like kind of, he wasn't a beloved old columnist or anything like that. He was kind of a new, kind of younger guy. He was from Kansas, and nobody really knew his background. And he kind of had this fling with another reporter, a woman in the office. And, that it was interesting to see the way they worked around story angles. But the thing is like anytime there was some big crime event in downtown Chicago, the guy would go missing, and we had no idea where he was. And then somehow whatever bank robbery or shooting that was happening downtown, Superman would show up and save the day. And then when we would get back to the office, this reporter would show back up, and we'd go, "Hey, where the hell were you? You're our beat reporter on crime. And Superman comes down here to save everybody, and you're nowhere to be found. But here you are." I don't know. This is all very fishy.
Yeah, Sam, it's sad that it took me at least 20 seconds. It took me at least 20 seconds for me to realize what kind of shtick you were doing. And shame, eternal shame, nothing but shame on my part.
Well, I just want you to have a nice laugh before we go get locked down with Al 9000.
I feel like in the world we live in, the one thing they don't really teach you when you start becoming a blogger or a writer is this is a ruthless industry.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have agendas, and
I love you too, Jessica Eldridge. Thank you very much. Thank you.
A lot of people want what you have, or they want to, I've always believed, and this is what I've loved. This is what I loved about Pathios, and this is the one piece that I miss about Pathios, is that I really felt like as a group, everyone supported everyone.
Yeah.
And that nobody was vindictive. Nobody wanted to take somebody else's blog down. Nobody wanted to hurt anyone else's business. Everyone wanted to support everyone because everyone knew as a collective we grew together.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've taken those relationships. Like, I'm obviously still friends with you, and I'm still friends with Suzanne. And a lot of people that were following me from other outlets when I was working at Pathios have come with me, and they still follow me, and they've changed their focus, and now they source me for my reality TV stuff,
Sure.
But I feel like sometimes you forget that, like, even though there's people out there that want to say you're one thing, they don't know all of the people that you have in your life that are like...
You got to know all the people.
Right. Like, they don't know all of the people that you work with. They don't know all of the relationships that you have. They don't know, like...
A lot of relationships.
Exactly. This is a relationship building business. And
it is.
You can't put out stories or be successful if you aren't ethical or willing to work with people or willing to find a place where you can work together. My problem,
and Lord knows if you're doing the right thing, you will always get ahead no matter what.
Yes. It's just ignoring the noise that can be challenging. But
yeah.
Right. And I love you too, Paul. And I have to say that, people need to figure out that they'll never get anywhere, especially in this country, doing the wrong thing. And we've seen that over and over.
Yeah.
Doing the wrong thing will never pay off.
Yeah.
Sam, you're a bad guy, Sam. That's what you are.
Well, it might be the last time I get to see you for a few weeks.
I want to have
Jesus.
Andy and Sam on my channel.
Okay.
Whoa!
You're gonna have to talk to me after I get out of quarantine, to tell you the truth.
I can help you guys.
I told you this show would pay off, Andy. I told you. You didn't believe me.
Well, Sam, I just don't get enough negative comments in my internets. And so,
I'm supposed to do one with Suzanne too. I just am like, I always talk to Suzanne. So Suzanne and I are always collaborating about the Duggars, and she has much knowledge because she was in that world, right?
Yes, Suzanne, and I always butcher her name, Tettemeyer. I don't know. She's a blogger.
Tiki Meyer, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant woman, and she was part of the life for a
16
while.
16 years.
Yeah. And
really, they basically took advantage of her when her daughter had cancer, and that's how she got sucked in.
Yeah.
And that's how these work, and I feel like she's doing everything now with the right world. And I feel like if anyone can commiserate with the kind of crap I go through, it's her.
Yeah.
Because she gets it from everyone, because these cults hate whistleblowers.
Oh, they do. They hate them because cults try to find people who they can manipulate and take advantage of. And when someone says, "Oh, that's not for me, I can't do this anymore," oh, it's ugly. It's totally ugly.
It's like the casting office at MTV.
All right, we're closing in on an hour. As you can probably all guess, I've got stuff I got to do before I go into work today.
I am so sorry.
And you know what, Katie? It's always a pleasure talking to you. Like I said, like the world has changed. It seemed like 10 years since the last time we talked.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And I feel like I'm always talking about you. I always give you shout outs. Like, I'm like, I love Andy.
I do the same thing.
You're sassy.
Sam is sassy. No, that's why he's the co-host. I have
Sunshine mixed with a little lightning.
That's what this is.
That's what Sam is.
That's what he is. Yes.
Maybe he's more like cloudy skies mixed with a little light.
So, Katie, for those people who aren't acquainted with your work, where can they find you online?
Without a Crystal Ball on YouTube. So youtube.com/without a crystal ball. And then I have Instagram, which is Without a Crystal Ball on Instagram. And then I have my Facebook, Without a Crystal Ball. I've yet to get my website set up. I'm going to finally get that set up at some point. I'm looking to find some people that can help with that. And we'll figure that out later. But yeah, YouTube is typically where I do my most work.
All right. That's your home.
Some folks in the chat asking for links to Andy and I. You can find us on Facebook at Friday Morning with Andy and Sam. You can find the Laughing in Disbelief blog
on Pathos.
On Pathos, and also on that's also your Instagram.
That's my Instagram and my Facebook page too.
And then I'm just at the Sam Slade across most social media. And Jesse Bear, we don't care for name calling here, ma'am. Thank you. We don't care for that kind of talk.
Very good. Thanks for everyone for watching and for commenting.
Jesse is my moderator and one of my closest friends.
Is she? Well, that's fantastic.
We don't welcome that kind of attitude around here. Katie, it was so nice to meet you and get to know you this morning. We hope to have you back on. We'd love to do your show. Andrew, hang in there, buddy. And I'm only a text message or a video call away.
Well, I will keep that in mind, sir. Thank you. And Katie, once again, thanks for coming on. It's great. As always, right?
Thanks, guys.
All right. I'm going to
see you next week.